How's it going, friends and family of the internet? Welcome to the Real AF TV podcast, the show about fishing and random takes from the land of 10,000 lakes. I'm one of your hosts, Josh LaBaw.
And I am the other guy, Tim Wagner.
The other guy.
The other fella.
Yes. I hope you just have another year's worth of random things to call yourself, because Tim, we're coming up on a year. Holy shit. Can you believe it?
What? Yeah, I can definitely call myself all sorts of stuff for another year.
I just put too much pressure on you. I'm sorry for that. I shouldn't have done that.
No, you didn't put too much pressure on me. I can definitely do it, but I would just no, I did not know it was coming. No, that was not the question. Can I believe it? Yes. Do I believe it? I don't know. What's this? Time is just is it even real?
Fucking flat circle or something.
Yeah, it's flat Earth or whatever. Hollow flat Earth or whatever. I don't know.
Both.
Both, dude. It's hollow and flat. It's crazy. It's like a falafel or a pita pocket. It's puffy in the area in the middle, but it's also flat. And then you put pizza toppings on it, and then they sell it at the food truck stand for twice as much as they should. I don't know what we're talking about anymore. I can believe it, but it's crazy. It doesn't feel like it's been a year. It went by fast, man. That's what I think I was trying to say. And then I started talking about stupid shit. So,
yeah, that's the same thing for me. It's it just it doesn't feel like it, because here we are on what is technically episode 24, but we do holiday specials in there and whatever. And it just occurred to me holy shit, dude, our next podcast is our 1 year. So get ready for that, everybody. Come on, follow us on realaftv.com. Yep, that works. realaftv.com.
No,
my bad. Just go there and then follow all our stuff. But yeah, we've been doing it for a year already, and just it blew my mind to think about that, and I just had to bring it up right here in the front of the podcast, because we'll put on a little show for the 1 year next year. Next week. 2 weeks from now, because we launch every other week, and that's why we do not have 52 episodes, one per week. We are not up there yet, but guess what? You can support us on patreon.com/realaftv, real with 2 E's in the middle. If you go over there right now, you can support us at even just $1. And we've been launching the video podcasts already. We've been doing for a month or so, at least maybe 2 months already. My God, we have a decent amount over there on Patreon that you can unlock for just $1. The video will go live soon enough, but we're still we're making sure we got the kinks worked out, and that we're getting good at tending to both audiences, right? Isn't that how you would say it, Tim?
Yes, I'm doing my best. I keep I've listened back to the last one, and I'm like, shit, I did that a couple times where I can see myself. So I'm like, look at this. And then you obviously audio listeners didn't see what I just did there. And it wasn't anything cool, but I just have to fill you guys in and let you know.
Right.
But in that instance, it really wasn't anything cool. I just did stupid shit with my hands.
Well, when you're telling stories that the fish was this big, right? You really need the video aspect.
Yeah, right. And if you weren't watching the video and you were just listening, you would have no idea that I have no clue what to do with my hands.
For all our audio listeners, this one will not be live on our YouTube channel, which you can just go to YouTube and look us up, REELAFTV. But you can get it behind the $1 paywall of Patreon. Oh, I'm sweating, Tim. It's hot in
Dude,
here.
I know. So I was doing my best to not move. I'm like, all right, before we record this, I need to not move at all. Just need to stay focused and try not to move. I want to drink a little bit of whiskey, but I'm nervous. Is that going to make me hot? Am I going to start sweating?
Right.
Made sure to tell my wife, because she likes to shut off the AC in the living room. I'm like,
oh yeah,
when you get Beckett to bed, do not shut that shit off. Like, just leave that running, because I don't. If you go in there and you shut off that thing, I'm gonna be like halfway through the podcast, just like, God damn, just like
trying to pull your collar off your neck because it's stuck.
Right, just like I'm sweating the morning after eating some real spicy burritos.
Oh, we've all been on the toilet and experienced that one.
Oh my gosh, it's terrible.
Bad mornings. Especially if you go out drinking a little bit afterwards or have too many margaritas while you're at the Mexican spot.
It hurts so bad in the morning. You're just like, oh, do I stand up? Do I sit down? I can't make this feel comfortable. And then you
Why
start
do my kidneys feel like they're trying to fly out my back?
You're just like, oh.
Oh, all right, man. First things first, let's get into some housekeeping. But before I even do that, first part, fishing. We're going to do night fishing. We're just going to cover night fishing. I did kind of a general topic, right?
Yep.
But we're going to get into night fishing, and then we are going to go ahead and do our second half, our random take, and we're going to do sports memorabilia, man caves. We're just going to kind of cover that because I'm not a sports guy, but like that stuff still appeals to me in some way. And so like, I just want to have that conversation with you.
Dude, it's right behind you.
Oh,
we'll touch on that later, but like you have man cave-ish stuff going on. And if you had that $1 paywall, you'd be able to see Josh has the man cave stuff going on.
That hit me so hard, dude, because I didn't even think of that. Like you just literally pointed that out in my brain. It's been there the whole time.
Oh yeah, I do have a whole man cave thing going on. And for those of you wondering, the audio listeners, like you can come and get in on this video thing and see Josh's. Mine is, you're not gonna be surprised. It's not fun. I have an orange wall.
You have a corner studio, like that.
I have a corner studio, yeah, because the rest of this room is a real bag of shit.
Had to bring out the wipe already, man. I'm sweating now. Too much laughing. Okay. Okay. Get it together, man. Get it together. All right, I got it. I'm back on track. A little housekeeping. Remember, in our off week, because the Real AF TV podcast drops every other week, in the off week, we are now splitting the topics. We're doing the fishing topic and the random take on 2 separate days. The fishing topic drops on Wednesday. The random take will drop on Friday. And then the following Monday, bam, new full podcast to get you through that week. Tim, night fishing. You and me go fishing in the dark.
Oh, country. I wasn't expecting that reference.
Yeah, not for me. But when you live in the area that we live in, you can't get away from it.
You cannot. I mean, we both know that song. I don't know if you can get away from that song at all. It's
ever,
everywhere.
Anywhere, right? If you live in the United States, you can't get away from that.
Those are like, there's a couple of country songs I don't mind, and those are some of them. Not that one so much. I do like the one where he's talking about, like, it's that like lead into like the girl's talking about, like, if you go fishing, I'm packing my things and I'm gonna leave.
Oh
and
yeah,
then it kind of like slows down and, well, I'm going fishing. And everybody cheers.
I'm a misser.
Yeah, it's like, hell yeah, dude. Just like she's just like, it's either me or fishing. You're just like, I'm gonna miss her. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Right.
Hey, okay, night fishing. So up north, for those of you not in the northern hemisphere, it stays light up here for a while. We live in the north part of the United States, for sure, here in Minnesota, and it's like there's like 15 hours from sun up to sundown, and I'm sticking specifically to now around the summer solstice, the time, the first day of summer. That's what I'm speaking of. Like these, these 2 weeks, we have like 15 hours of sunlight.
Yeah.
Out of a 24-hour day, which is wild, I think, There's a very specific part of the world that gets that, and we live in it. So to talk about night fishing now, I think is a weird thing, and I just wanted to point that out. But I wanted to point that out because like it has to have an influence on night fishing because we're also a huge walleye culture up here, and walleyes are a big time night fishing. So do you know anything about like why walleyes are night fishing? I didn't look that up, but I was kind of like, what's up with walleyes? I know we did a whole walleye episode, but like,
it's just they just have an advantage. Their eyes are so
those big
good.
Fucking walleyes.
Yeah, they're just so good at seeing in really low light condition that they just have a really big advantage over their prey.
So that they get active. They literally will like hunt at night.
Yeah, or like in the low light hours. The low light hours is when I like to fish for them. I think that's when they're most active. But you can catch them at night too. But it's just
okay. So that time, so that's part of like our. It's like if I did my research, and it's like 15 hours from sun up to sundown, but then there's like 2 hours on either side, like as the sun's coming up and as the sun's going down, where you can still see very clearly, where it's still very bright out up here.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah, the
those low light hours.
Yeah. Yep.
Like the sun's technically down.
Right. Yep. That in the morning and at night are awesome for fishing. I believe is it just at night that it's called the twilight?
Yeah.
I believe that's what the twilight is. Yeah.
And then the dawn is in the morning.
Yeah, so when you're hitting those hours, it's like perfect for fishing.
Really?
And then when it gets dark, like they're definitely still active. But I normally don't stay out because I fish most days. So if I stay up super late fishing,
like literally you mean during the day?
Yes. Well, I mean like if I get a chance, like if it's the weekend, like I'm probably not fishing Saturday night because I want to fish right away again Sunday morning, you know?
Right. So yeah. You're fishing the daylight hours. That's what you meant by day, right?
Right. Well, yes, too. And the other reasoning for that is just I kind of aspire. I've always dreamt of like tournament fishing, and that doesn't happen in the dark. So I'm always trying to become a better angler during the hours of when I would actually fish. So
sure.
Learning how to do stuff at different times of the day doesn't really help me in that pursuit of being a tournament fisherman down the road. So
yeah, definitely. And on that note, let's sidetrack really quick. What a huge weekend, dude. Did you watch it was E3 and the Bassmaster Classic on the same. Did you see me post on social at all? I had 2 iPads up watching both at the same time.
Yeah, it was there was so much going on. I saw like my phone for Instagram was blowing up constantly of like live video. It was like every it was like every fishing sponsor that I follow was just like, look at our pro.
Nice.
Yeah.
I felt a little bad. I was like, man, we should be on because like video games and fishing, like they're just coming together right now on the same week, and this is fucking weird.
And it was
we just weren't prepared for it, you know? That's all it came down to.
Yeah, I didn't know that they were on the same weekend. Like I wasn't paying attention to the excuse me. I wasn't paying attention to the E3 timing so much. I heard some of the podcast talking about it, but I never really paid attention to the exact timing of it. And then the Bassmasters I had been paying attention to.
Right.
And they just dropped on the same week and I had no idea. Like once it happened, I'm like, oh, they're both happening right now. Like
right.
I was just not prepared at all. But it was cool to see because I think E3 must have had a pretty good. I think a lot of this stuff coming back out now was like it was getting a little bit slow, and then COVID came and it made everybody realize how fun doing things in the real world is instead of the virtual stuff. It like made everybody so sick of it. Like when you make it so this is our only option, we're like, God, I just want to do something again. And the Bassmaster Classic was the second highest I think, in attendance in history.
Yeah. Yep. It was. Yep.
So
I can't remember exactly what it said, but I saw that too. Yep.
yeah, and that's crazy from coming, off of a nobody can go anywhere to
Mm-hmm.
now they're allowing it and some people still being skittish to now this is the second most ever
Right.
from battling times of when there wasn't pandemics.
Right. Right.
Just
Exactly.
it's awesome to see though.
Yeah. It was really cool. It was really cool. And good on you, Hank, for 2 in a row, man.
Yes. Dude, I looked his like I know some people aren't big on their social media followings or whatever, but
Mm-hmm.
he had like 34,000 followers on Instagram and I'm like 2 years in a
Damn.
row and you're at 30,000 followers? Like that's just nuts. Just on principle, this guy shouldn't even have to post anything. Everybody that's into bass, you have the second highest following ever. And you have, like, I see social media presences that, like, I've never even heard of pop up with 30K. And you're like, oh, wow, I can't believe they
Oh,
have 30K. Never heard
sure.
of these people.
Right.
And then you have the 2 in a row champion. Like, that is a huge feat. If you guys
Huge.
don't know, the Bassmaster Classic is the Super Bowl of bass fishing. And
Right.
this guy just repeated.
Yeah. He's one of a few. I can't remember the number they said, but it's like it's a few.
Yes, it has not been many because it
No.
is super hard to do.
Yeah.
Because they're like he's going up against the best of the best. It's just
Right.
like any of the other sports out there. Like
Right.
you may think that guy doesn't like you may not know, if you're listening to this podcast you probably know about fishing but everybody knows about football, I feel,
Mm-hmm.
and if you're watching all these people play football and you see one guy, like a defensive, say an offensive tackle,
Mm-hmm.
and he's not doing his job blocking and you're like that guy sucks, I guarantee you're not getting around that fucker. He's just trying to stop the best of the best. you
Right.
know so
Yeah.
that's the same
Mm-hmm.
thing with this bass fishing. You're watching some of these other guys and they're like, oh, they're not that good because they're never at the top of the tournament. They're still in the Bassmaster Classic. Like
Right.
they're gonna outfish you if you go up
They
against them.
will.
You can have them come to your home lake and they're gonna put more fish in the boat than you. That's just
That's
the way
just
it
how it's gonna
is.
work.
And this guy beat the best of the best 2 years in a row in something that's not like a normal sport. It's not like you can just work out your whole life. There's also
Right.
a
Yeah.
decent amount of luck involved
Yeah.
in
And
it's just
research. I mean, not that like football doesn't do go through research because you watch a lot of tape and stuff and like learn your opponent and whatever. But like
right.
there's a hidden aspect to fishing,
Right,
and that
exactly.
is you
Yeah.
can't just like, as much as technology helps us, especially Garmin now coming in the game being like really lighting shit up. As much as technology helps us see in the water, it's not seeing it. It's not the
Right.
visual. And yes, you can sight fish a lot of spots and whatever you want to say to that, but
Yeah.
there's just a different it's just a different element. Anyways,
Yeah, so
we'll
many
talk about we got
variables.
to talk about tournament fishing some other time, I
Yes.
think.
Yes.
Let's get back
It's
into night fishing.
it's a huge feat. Congratulations. Night
Right.
fishing sucks ass.
Yeah, so you don't night fish, and again, from a big
No.
coming from Minnesota, a big walleye area. Mille Lacs, I know, I've never been there, but is it Mille Lacs, Lake of the Woods, maybe both of them? Huge like tourist destinations, right? They'll bring
Yeah.
out a pontoon and they'll literally line the outside of the pontoon at night
Yeah.
and they'll fish walleye. So like night fishing is like a thing Minnesotans do.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and
you go ahead.
night fishing works and it doesn't suck. It's good. But I don't like it. That's why I say it sucks cuz in my
Right.
opinion, it's not for me. And
Mm-hmm.
like what you were talking about, they call those launches. And it's not necessarily
Launches.
pontoon boats.
Okay.
They'll have like giant regular boats. They're almost like ships. They're big. Big old
Jesus.
decks. Like you can hold
Really?
like 30 people and you can all walk around.
Yeah. They're
It's
big.
nuts. Yeah, I've been on one time, and we went out in the middle of the summer day, and there was no wind. It was like the shittiest conditions to go catch uh, walleye on. And the guy literally was just like, I don't know if we're gonna have luck today. And he set us all up with Lindy rigs and just let the slight breeze that we had push us across the flat.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were just all dragging bait across this flat. And if there was any
Mm-hmm.
fish there, you'd think that we'd catch them because we had like 20 lines on one side and we're all dragging. And
Jeez.
there's just like all these baits. And there's so much food down here. One of us should have something. And a couple of people caught big ass smallmouths. But
Oh,
that's
really?
it. But yeah, just
No,
monster
just smallies,
smallmouths.
huh?
I want to go fish. That's all I want to go fish on Mille Lacs. I want to go fish smallies on Mille Lacs so bad. They're just monsters, just
Put
giant
it
tanks.
down.
Yes, I want to do it so bad. That's one of my big destinations. I should have said that, but that's such a realistic one that I didn't count it in the destinations. I just need to get a boat big enough to handle if the wind picks up on Mille Lacs because you can get some gnarly
Because
waves out there.
Yeah, because it's such a big body of water, right? So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
I mean, for the listeners that don't live in Minnesota, just Google Maps, Lake Mille Lacs,
Right.
Minnesota.
Yeah.
Just see that thing from the sky. You're gonna go, oh shit!
Yeah. It
They
is
don't fuck around up there.
no. That's a
No,
big body of water. We have a lot of lakes, and a lot of
for
them are
sure.
small. That is not a small one. That is a big ass lake.
Right.
That's
So,
one where like
oh,
when you're on one side of the water and you're looking across, you can't see the shore on the other side. It
yeah, the
is
horizon is just water still.
yeah, it's huge.
Yeah,
It looks like
it's
you're
that
at
big.
a great lake. But
Yeah, for
the
sure. It's crazy.
yeah, just before we get off the topic, I don't know what you're going into, but I wanted to say the reason I don't like it is because I hate bugs. There are times of year where the bugs aren't bad. Like if you were trying to night fish in the spring, which you don't have a big window for because when you're night fishing, you're normally fishing for walleye. And in Minnesota, we can't fish for walleye
Can't fish for a
until
while at that time. Mm-hmm.
fishing opener, which was just like a month and a half ago. So,
Right.
but the
Which is not
bugs
quite
get
spring.
so bad, it's not worth it for me. I hate the
Mm-hmm.
feeling of them like crawling on me. They're just like moths and shit. You do get bit by
Mm-hmm.
mosquitoes pretty bad up here, but you can wear bug spray to stop the
Mm-hmm.
mosquitoes.
Yep.
It does. They get so bad. It does not stop them all. There's just bugs hitting you in the face, and they're crawling all over you. And I'm just like, I'd like to. At night fishing, you control slow and stuff, but I'd like to have a beer
Mm-hmm.
while night fishing.
Yeah.
Just kind of moving slow, and there's bugs
Yep.
everywhere. I can't open my mouth. I'm just like
You're afraid
bugs.
they're landing in your beer.
Bugs felt in your face. You're like, I can't even put the beer to my mouth, or I'm gonna eat a fucking bug. I don't, not for me.
It's so funny because everything you just said is like, okay, so what gear do you bring on a night? And I was, what gear do you bring that you wouldn't during the day? And it was the first thing I put down was, well, exchange your sunscreen for bug spray.
Right. Yeah.
Right? If you're the kind of person that needs sunscreen, you just take that son of a bitch out, put some bug spray in there, night fishing. Here you
Right.
go.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
I didn't even think about it from what you just said. I didn't think about the bugs. It's like the bug repellent is for mosquitoes, horse flies, whatever, those kind of biting bugs. That's
Yeah.
what it's intended for. It's not going to stop the bugs that are just living on the water flying into your ass.
Yeah. And they
while
land
you're
on your
trying to
like.
troll.
There's such a large sample size of so many of these stupid ass little like white moths
Mm-hmm.
that like it doesn't stop them all. Even
Right.
even on the like side by side commercials for like off bug spray, you see
Mm-hmm.
like two hands and they'll have them like in a cage with a shit ton of mosquitoes, and the one's like
Right.
covered in mosquitoes and the other one has like 6 or 7 on it still.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's still like, yeah, with 30 mosquitoes, there's some of them that are just gonna be like, fuck your bug spray, bro. I'm sucking your blood.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. But again, the bouncing of the bugs, like I didn't even think about it. Oh, and beer, of course. I put down beer. Like if you're night
Yeah.
fishing, gotta
Yeah.
have beer, right?
Right. Well, because a lot of times night fishing is bobber fishing. So you're sitting
Yeah.
in one spot. I don't like to bobber fish anytime without a beer. Like, come on now.
Bobber fishing and beer, they just go together.
If I'm sitting in one spot, I'm kind of an impatient fisherman. But if you have, if I'm drinking a beer as I'm, sitting in one spot. That's a different story because I'll do that without fishing.
Right.
So you add fishing in, and then hey, now we got a party.
Win. Right. And then the headlamp, like I had the headlamp. I had a headlamp on there too, because like I'm just assuming you need a headlamp if you're out there. It's like you've done it before. I'm assuming you need some kind of light, and a headlamp would probably be the fucking easiest way to go about it.
Yeah, like a headlamp or depending on your boat, some of them have some decent lights in the boat.
Like floor lighting or some shit or what?
Well, yeah, like floor lighting, kind of just like ambient lighting. Or when you're parked, legally you have to have that one white light in the back. If you're driving, you have to have the lights on the front where it's a red and a green light in the front. So
it's like split in half, a red on one side, green on the other.
Yep.
On the nose of the boat or whatever that's called.
Yeah, and the reason that it's split like that is so you know, like when you see the color, you can tell which side of the boat you're on. Like that you're looking at.
That you're looking at. Yeah.
Yep. So
nice.
you can kind of tell like yeah, so you're like you can tell that he's, going to your right or to your left because I can tell that I'm looking at this side of the boat. And then the white light in the back, that has to be on even if you're stopped. But the front lights, the front lights only have to be on while you're moving.
Oh, okay. That's actually one of the questions I had that I couldn't necessarily find. I didn't look up. So rear light always on. Yep. Front light when you're moving. So you can be anchored and just have that, but that white one always has to be on. Or you can turn off the front one.
Yeah, the white one's always on. Yep.
Does that usually have a different switch on it then in the back? Like how does that work from a power standpoint on the boat?
My dad's boat has an auxiliary switch, and when you flip it, I can't remember which way it goes, but it's like flip it up just turns on one and flip it down turns them both on.
Oh.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. So a lot of boats is pretty easy.
Yeah.
But it's
kind of straightforward because like in my head I'm going like these are just car batteries, like there has to be some sort of like circuitry going on, but how much of that do you get in a boat? Like I don't know that much about boats, honestly.
Yeah, my dad's has 6 toggle switches, I think.
Damn.
Yeah, because there's an auxiliary for that you can turn off and on the depth finder. There's the pump to pump the water out if there was like water that came in. There's pump to pump the water into the live well switch, the light switches, and then I think there's a couple more aux ports that are just like open in case you had other stuff that you wanted to wire. It's like just pre-wired into the boat, like you're ready for things if you need things. I can't
right, like the TV.
Yeah, just you want to put a TV on there because you're night bobber fishing, and we know it's not that exciting. No, I don't know what you would all need, but
so you said that you've been out on like one of those mass night fishing, not night fishing, but you've been out on one of those things that would go out night fishing. But you were out during the day.
Yeah.
But like, how do you drive that thing? How do they drive that thing? How do you drive like a normal personal boat? Like, I don't know what are the sort of like unwritten rules of the road? Do you know that before you go out? Do you know that as a avid angler?
How they drive that big thing?
No, I mean, how do you conduct yourself on the water in a boat at night? Because you got to be driving different from the day. That's what I'm really saying. Like,
oh yeah, I don't know if there's like a speed limit. But I'm so goddamn paranoid about all that stuff. Like I conduct myself like moving slow. I'm not
just slow, right?
I'm not.
That's how I would.
I'm not picking it up to a plane at all because you don't have headlights. It's not shining your path. Like when you're on the water, there's like some pontoon boats that come with headlights and stuff, and there is a possibility of getting lights. But I'm not picking it up to a plane when it's nighttime, anyways, because there's like one of the most common things are bogs, and a bog is like if you get into where the dead reeds are, there's like the root system picks up like the ground with it, and it's buoyant, and it's actually kind of like split between the actual soil and like where it is. I don't know exactly how to explain it, but like when the wind picks up, those chunks can break off and float across the lake, and you can have legitimate like
mini floating islands.
Yes, mini floating islands is a perfect way to say it. And you could just light one of those up driving across, and you'd have no idea what happened, or
right.
like you'd
Light your
probably
own
be
ass up
okay,
hitting one
but
of
it's gonna
those.
jar you hard. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't fuck around with that. Plus, like I said, I don't really do the whole night fishing thing, so it's
right.
It's different, but
just another thing on top of it.
Yeah. And people will troll. It's a good time to troll like crankbaits and stuff, because that vibration gets their attention, and you can, and
sure.
like in super clear water, they don't see the boat in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
So you can kind of like go right over them and not have to worry about spooking them. Like you can drive over them in shallower water, and there are definitely advantages to night fishing, but the only way I see it is really like, maybe you could get a couple more fish to bite, but like I said, I just prefer doing it in the daytime. That being said, like if you always fish with friends, I think it'd be a completely different story, Like
why is that?
If it was like me and you and all of our friends were fishermen, and when we go to have a party and we're all drinking, and say that we just had a pontoon boat and we could just have that party on the pontoon boat night fishing, I would do that a lot.
For sure. Yeah. So, I understand exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. So I guess it just depends on where you're at, how easy it is to get on the water, that kind of thing. Because definitely, like our crew, if we all fished, you go back 15 years ago, most nights we'd be out there.
We'd be out. Yes, exactly. Yes. It would be awesome. I understand exactly what you're saying there.
Right.
So there's a full moon coming up on the 24th. So when this drops, it's like the week of the full moon, and that changes fish behavior from everything that I know.
Yep.
But it also like changes the way that you can see. Have you ever been out late enough to have a full moon affect the vision on the water?
Yes.
Because like you have a cabin, right? And like definitely that far north, you're getting less light pollution than we are where we live.
Yeah.
So like, does that make a big difference? And also, does the full moon really actually make fish behave differently? Is that just a myth? It does.
Moon, yes, the moon phases for sure make a difference for some fish, like more than others. And it's also kind of like there's a lot of other variables that play into it. So it's not 100% the moon. But I went one time midday on the Mississippi. This is the best example I have of how it works.
Okay.
I went one time midday, because the moon cycle is different than the sun cycle.
Okay.
You can have a full moon in the middle of the sky at like 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Like the sun and the moon can be right next to each other almost. But I went to the Mississippi River. I was fishing for smallmouth, and I went according to what Bass Pro, or like not Bass Pro Shops, Bass, like the B.A.S.S. has a moon calendar, and you can see when it shows the peak times, because there's I won't explain all of it right now, but there's like the moon underfoot and the moon overhead, and the when it sets, and then there's other times that it actually like it says that it does more. Like when I was fishing in the middle of the day, having the sun up and having the moon up at the same time can amplify it.
Really?
Yeah. So like, or like when the sunrise is at the same time as, or the sunrise and the moon set, or the moonrise and the sunrise, like when they're both coming up at the same time and stuff, that can like be a double effect too, and help you out. But when I went on the Mississippi River, a part that I fished tons, and I've went down there and caught like 3 or 4 fish a lot of times that I went out there, I caught a fish every single cast. I caught a smallmouth for like 17 casts in a row, And I'm like,
What?
this is remarkable. I can't believe that this is like and it was just like the stars aligned that day. It was the perfect peak fishing time. And then there was a little bit of wind, and just everything that could go right did go right that day. And I'm
Jeez.
not joking. Every single cast for like 17 casts straight. I've never been
That
able
was a
to
full
recreate.
moon, midday full moon?
I don't know if it was a full moon, but it was close to it. Like
Okay.
the Bass, if you go on Bass's, if you just put like Google Bass moon
Yep.
calendar,
Yep.
it'll show you and actually give you a score for each day based on, the sun and the moon are rising at this time and going down this
Mm-hmm.
time. Like, your day should be awesome if you go this day, as long as everything else works out, as long as it's
Right.
not like right after a cold front or whatever. But that doesn't
Yeah.
mean you can have a bad day. It's just you got to adjust your presentation and stuff.
Right.
But yes, to get back to your original question, the moon at night, when it's a full moon, is so much brighter. When it's clear skies and stuff, it really does make a difference. Like, the sun will set and you can still see everything so well at night because the moon is so damn bright.
Right.
So it's still lighting everything up real well, and you can fish for a little bit longer. And for
Nice.
me, until the bugs come out, and then I go, shit. Or sometimes you're fishing out there and you're not getting the mosquitoes until you get back to the dock, and then you're like going up to the cabin, like, just like, I knew I should have came in earlier. Shit. Sorry for hitting the mic there.
It made it more dramatic. It really drove home the point. So, yeah. No,
and it helps.
I just never. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, sorry, I was gonna say, in like the low light conditions, it helps that light reflect off of your bait a little better. So depending on the bait that you're using,
Really?
it gives like there's a little
You
bit
mean
of
like the
flat.
low light during the full moon, so like it's still bright because of the moon?
Right, like, so it's still dark, but like if you have like a UV lure, it's still picking up that little bit of UV light, and your lure might they're the fish's eyes work
Mhm.
different than ours. So those walleyes might
Right.
be like, that thing might be damn near glowing to them,
Right.
where we can
Even
barely
though,
see anything.
yeah, it doesn't look like much to us, but it's
Right.
like crazy. And
Mm-hmm.
that's actually perfect transition to the back to the glowing bobber because of the light. And I just like think to myself, because you said trolling, all that stuff. Do like what other fishing do you do? Do you bobber fish at night for walleye? Like,
Yeah.
are oh, you do?
Yep. Yeah,
So
you
those
could.
glowing bobbers are pretty. I mean, I'm not just trying to stick to walleye because we're Minnesotans or anything like that, but like that's what we
Yeah.
know. I mean, that's
Well,
what the
right.
area
Yeah,
is.
for us up here, like, that's the main target. Like,
Mm-hmm.
walleye feed more aggressively in the low light hours and in the dark. And some lakes, you'll hear some people being like, this is a night bite lake. Like,
Oh,
when the
really?
sun goes down, like, for whatever reason, these fish are just like, that's when they're eating.
Hmm.
And some lakes, you'll hear people be like, yeah, this is not a night fishing lake for whatever reason, even if
Huh.
the water's clear. But a lot of the clear waters are really good for night fishing. So like
Sure.
the lake that I fish a lot, it'd be perfect probably. I just don't like it.
I just don't
Um,
like it.
but
And you
yeah,
probably don't have any glowing bobbers either.
I do actually.
Oh, you do.
Yeah,
You're
but
not a night fisher, but you still got the bobbers.
that's just a color preference. Like, I get the fill just in case I ever needed to. They have
Sure.
glow in the dark one. I don't have like the light up LED ones, but the Thill
Mm-hmm.
have like yellow on the top and black on the bottom,
Yep.
and those are glow in the dark. I just like the way they look. So,
Yeah.
because I do bobber fish like when it starts to get dark, and it helps see when it starts to get dark.
Oh,
So, depending on where we're
sure.
at, sometimes I'll go for crappie or whatever because they'll bite when it's getting dark. Everything likes to eat when it's getting before and after the sunrise or sunset. But
Oh, okay. So like
um,
you might throw on a glow bobber for crappie fishing, like at official sunset.
right,
When
yep,
like up here, we still have another hour and a half of sunlight during the
right,
summer.
yeah, exactly. Like
Oh,
right now, like sunset like 8:30, and I'll fish until like 9:30 or whatever.
right,
Still
right.
catching them,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
but yeah, and then the a lot of times with the walleyes, they'll move up to feed. So they're kind of going from their like a little bit deeper spot during the day to like up shallower to feed. And they'll be kind of like roaming a flat. A lot of the active fish are on the flats. They come up off of like the
deep water, like they'll come
yeah,
up the slope that is
yeah,
between the shallows and the deep.
right. Yep. I was trying to think of the exact terms, but it's like, yeah, that slope. They'll come off of the slope and then go up to where the break line is. So the break line is right where like you got the flat, and then the break line is where it starts to go down.
Okay.
And then from that break line, they'll be like roaming that flat, eating stuff up there.
Oh.
So a lot of people will go up there and bobber fish and just kind of, at night, they'll just set it in that flat and wait for one to just come and find it, because they're
Just
just on
find
the
it because
move. So you
because
just leave
they're
it.
actively moving. You don't have to be
Yeah,
looking for them. You don't have to necessarily be moving because they're on the move.
exactly. Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
So bobber fishing
Nice.
works in the middle of the night pretty well.
Nice.
I know a decent amount of people that do it, just not.
Sure.
And I would fish with them. I just don't do it myself. So
Right. Yeah. You need somebody to motivate you to get out on the water
right,
at night because you're not
right.
going to do it yourself.
Yeah.
Fucking
Also, I
bugs.
feel like if there's like 6 or 7 of us, like they're gonna take some of the bugs. It's not gonna just be me.
It's the
So
whole hand in the box situation, right?
right.
You
Yeah.
don't have to outrun the bear. You just have to outrun the person behind you.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Well, before we wrap the fishing topic on night fishing, I have to ask about lights, like floodlights, dude. Do you know anybody who does that or anything like that? Because I've seen them do spearfishing with floodlights down south. So like you're out on a flat deck boat, right? And all of the lighting inside the boat is like red and low light, low light
Mm-hmm.
night light stuff.
Yep.
And then they'll just put these giant floodlights on so that you can see through the water, and they'll just go in the shallows in this flat boat and they'll just spear fish.
Yeah,
And I've
dude.
only seen it in the south, but that, could have just been my limited access to everything. But you can they spotlight fish, and it's not
Yes.
like a deer where they shine them and they freeze,
Right.
from what I could see. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Then
anyway,
they chase them around. It's rough fish
yeah,
mainly, like carp and stuff, and
right.
they'll go into really shallow water,
Mm-hmm.
so the fish can't really retreat down. They're just up there, like kind of
Oh,
roaming, and I've seen it done up here, and
okay.
they not spearfishing but bow fishing.
Yeah, bow fishing for
Yeah,
sure.
so
Yep.
they drive around, and I've seen quite a few boats actually.
Okay.
Like if I drive around right now, I'm sure I can find you a couple in St. Cloud right now. Just give me a little while to drive around and be like, oh, there's one, there's one. A
Really?
lot of people convert john boats and stuff, get like an extra fishing deck and put lights all the way around the outside,
What's a
and
John
then they
boat
drive
quick?
around. John boat is like, so you're familiar with bass boats, and a lot of
Yeah.
people like how they're
I
kind of
think a lot of
flatter
people are,
like
right?
that.
Yeah. They
So
have
it's
they're
kind of
pointed, they
yes,
come, they're
yeah.
like a
So
triangle if
right,
you look on from the top.
yeah, but more so of how it sits in the water is
Okay.
like
Super
it's
low.
kind of low like that, but a john boat. So like as far as shapes go, a bass boat is like the triangle, a john boat's like a rectangle. The
Yep.
front the front is flat, like
Mm-hmm.
it's a flat edge, and then it's, sloped like a boat, but
In the front. Yep. The nose is still sloped.
it's yeah, it's just really shallow. A lot of people use them for like fishing
Duck
in
hunting.
like a duck blind or whatever. They'll sit in the
Yep.
john boats. They're just
Yep.
shallow, they're tippy,
That's
but
exactly the kind of boat. I just didn't know the right word. That's
yeah.
exactly the boat that I was talking about. Yeah, it's
Yep.
like a rectangle boat, low profile. That's how you roll through the flat or
Yep.
the shallows. Yeah, for sure. Okay.
Yep.
So they take those and they put big old
Yeah.
halogens on the front,
Yeah,
huh?
they put a bunch of halogens on the front so they can like shine in the water really good.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go out. I think part of it too, why they do it at night, is because for the most part the wind dies down when
Mm-hmm.
the light goes away and it gets to nighttime. The
Mm-hmm.
wind dies down a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and no wind on the lake makes it a lot easier to see the fish.
No ripples. It's like a piece of glass. It's much easier.
I don't know why, but when you said no ripples, I was about to say no nipples. No ripples, no nipples, bro. That should be a shirt.
It means you got to have your shirt on. The bugs are bad.
Doesn't make any sense at all. Just got to
no,
use
it just means keep your shirt on because we're going night fishing. The no shirt stuff, save that for the day.
Just picture like a southern dude for whatever reason. They're just like, hey man, why are you fishing out here at night for these carp? And you're just like, hey man, no ripples, no nipples. You know what I'm saying? But just
fires off like right at that moment. Got one.
You know what I'm saying? This guy, he knows.
He gets it. I hope people don't think we're making fun of Southern accents. It just sounds better. Like there's just something that's just better about that conversation in a Southern accent.
Right. Sorry, I just got distracted. I don't know if you could see that. Probably not. I doubt it. Highly doubt it. See, you see white stuff on my finger?
Oh yeah, I do.
That's the letters of like the bottom of this glass. Probably said like, don't fucking
like made in China. Don't put this shit in the microwave.
Yeah, probably like don't put this shit in the dishwasher. And then we put the shit in the dishwasher, I guess. And now I got little letters all over my fingers. Just like all the letters came off of the bottom of this glass. It literally just like a bunch of tiny letters. It looks so weird. I thought I had shit in my glass for a while. And I'm like, no, I have little letters all over my finger. The letters. Sorry. I got distracted. I'm like, what the fuck? Just trying to. And it's just water. So I thought, you know, what the fuck is in my glass here? Right, and it's just gross. A bunch of letters coming off of the bottom. Sorry.
Well, Tim washes the alphabet soup of his hand. Turtle power. That's for his video version. Patreon.com/realaftv. Real with 2 E's. $1. You can see the video. All right. Well, Tim washes the alphabet soup off of his hand. We are going to take a break for that. And then when we come back, we're going to talk sports memorabilia, man cave situation, and all of the fun stuff that comes along with that. So here we go. Hit it.
Turtle power. I can hear my seat. Let's make a beat out of it. So
welcome back to the Real AF TV podcast. I guess you were probably here the whole time, just took a short break, but this is the second half of the podcast, the Random Take. Real AF TV podcast, the show about fishing and random takes from the land 10,000 lakes, and this is the Random Take part. Tim, let's talk about sports memorabilia and man caves, because not being a sports guy myself, I actually have sports shit. And if you're seeing this in the Friday release, right, where we drop the Random Take on a Friday for you to enjoy Friday night with your cold beverage and feet up, hopefully. Go back to the first half, because Tim almost made me laugh cry by pointing out I have man cave stuff behind me in my video feed, which I know you can't see on the podcast if you're listening to this on a podcast feed, and you can't see in the video feed on YouTube if you're listening to the podcast there, because we're not ready to launch that. But soon we will go public. I have man cave type stuff up here. It's all video game stuff, and it's music and video game stuff. And I almost laughed, whatever you want to say, because it didn't even dawn on me that that's totally like man cave stuff. Like that is like a memorabilia display, which is pretty much what a man cave is.
Yeah, dude.
So I freaking lost it. But the thing that made me want to talk about this is because a month ago, 2 months ago, geez Louise, we did a live stream where Tim was live stream fishing and I was live streaming PS2 games. Well, to get my PS2 out of storage, I literally had to go into my tote. I say my tote because this is my shit of single guy stuff, right? The stuff that I just couldn't let go before I got married. And so I got it in a tote. And so you go in there and like you start to pull all this stuff out, and then there's the PS2, and you're like, hey, there's what I came for. And in the meantime, I'm pulling out like original Florida Marlins, laminated the first time they won the World Series. I have it from the Star Tribune, so it's only a tiny little section because we're not from Florida, we're from Minnesota, right?
Right.
But like I have the first time the Florida Marlins won the World Series. I was a big Marlins fan back in the day, and then I would like pull out this poster that I've had since like '95, and I was like, holy shit, dude, that's actually really cool. I never thought about how old that is. And we went to Goodwill, and somebody must have just cleaned out their man cave because there was a bunch of Minnesota Wild stuff, and it was like when the Wild were becoming the Wild, like when we first got Koivu. And I'm sorry, Tim, if you don't understand it, but it was like
no, I get it.
Yeah, and it was just like we just got Zach Parise, Koivu was building himself. There was just like this. We had Backstrom in the goal, and it was just like sort of when the Wild decided they were going to be a team, a hockey team.
Yeah. Miko, right?
Yeah.
Is it Nico or Miko?
Miko
Koivu?
Shit. It's Miko Koivu. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know hockey, but I live in Minnesota, so I hear things. Like I don't watch it, but like I know the names, and I see the jerseys too. Koivu. I'm like, okay, I know which guys people like on our team. That's all I need to know. Because that's all you need to know. Like when you hear people just like bullshitting about it, they're just like, "Hey, hockey and stuff," and you're just like, "Yeah, that fucking Miko, huh? How about him?
That fucking Miko, eh?
He plays,
it's good.
Whatever. He's he's got that stick on the ice with the puck that he's shooting to in the net. You know, those are things.
Those are things." Right. Exactly. And well, so like I was saying, it's like all that stuff just started to like come out of storage as I was just searching for the PS2, and I was just like, okay, finally, I just got to make this a topic because we both live in debt because we're trying to own the properties that we are currently recording in.
Yes, I didn't know where you were going with that.
I know. A very weird way to say we have mortgages.
Yes. We do live in
and
debt.
What I'm trying to get at there is like you try to own your space, I feel like, a little bit more, right? Like as much as you always try to make every space you live in your own space, like there is this tendency to want your own. And as dads and as husbands for years now, I feel like that's what the man cave is.
Right. Yep.
Do you have any desire for the man cave? Because even like, I guess I'm sort of building one already. I kind of have this like geeky man cave going, which I'm fucking super proud of and love it, by the way.
Yeah,
and
dude.
A lot like thanks to my wife. But how about you?
I do have aspirations of one someday, but right now, I mean, it's just so hard to get going and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But like, yes, I do. I have visions of having basically like a studio / man cave. Like if I can fit it all in there at the same time. But like how you have it now, it's kind of like the same thing. Like you have all your memorabilia and fun stuff behind you. So then you can just like, it's your studio and everybody can see your shit that's in the back. Because I love old fishing lures and I love like fishing in general, but I also love sports and I love video games. So like, I'm also very particular about my video game stuff. It's not like I love all of it, you know? Yeah. Some people are like, anything video game, I want it all. And there's only certain video games that I'm really like, that's the shit I'm repping. You know? So it's like that stuff. And then I'd love to have like autograph memorabilia. Like I see a lot of them talking about like the auction sites where you can go and bid on the autograph stuff. And I'm like, man, I want all of that shit. Like that'd be so cool to just have all that stuff hanging on the walls. But the other thing that I really want to do, and we know a guy, my brother and sister-in-law don't live next to us, but the town that they live in, they've made friends with a lot of people that live in that town. And one of the houses that we've been to with them quite a few times, in their garage, they have a bar that he has made. And it's like the surface of the bar is like the diamond plate chrome. You know what I'm
Oh,
talking
like
about?
something that you see like on a box in a work truck.
Yes.
It's
Yep,
a work
exactly.
truck toolbox in a bed of a
Yes.
truck.
Yep.
Okay,
So
so
that's
that
the
kind of diamond plate. Okay.
so that's the surface, but he's got like fiber optics little dots all over it, and then he's got like a
What?
plexiglass over it. So
Yeah,
it just looks like that with all the different colors and stuff.
but it's still
But
a
then
nice smooth bar
it's
top for
nice
you, like to
smooth
just
bar
have your
top.
drink on,
Yep.
rest your arm on.
Yep. And then the
Oh,
actual bar itself, like the top of it, is like all of these slot machine marquees. Like just the top
what?
part, you
The
know?
top, the like glass that comes out of the top,
Yeah.
like there's the screen in the slot machine, and then the thing right above that has like the
Yep.
logo on it and the
Yep.
attention getting thing.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. Oh,
And
dude, that's sick.
they lived in Vegas for a while. So they made that, and and on the top where that marquee is, he's got
Mhm.
like actuators with cables, and he hits a switch and it goes and it comes down, and that's where all the bottles are. Like it just comes.
What?
It's so dope. It's so cool.
It
And
literally has bottles drop out of the slot machine fronts?
yes, it drops, like you have all the slot machines and the bottom like comes down.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically, yeah.
Oh my
And
god,
I
dude.
love that
That's
idea.
so sick,
I
dude.
want to do that same thing with video game marquees.
Yeah, with old arcade machines,
Yeah,
dude.
dude. Yeah.
Holy shit, that's genius.
I want to do that so bad.
You saw that and you thought that immediately, didn't you?
Immediately, he was like,
Yeah.
yeah, he was like, this is slot machines. And I'm like, that is awesome. How cool would it be to have that with video game marquees? Like instantly. And I told him right away, I'm like, I'm going to steal this idea. And I asked his permission even. I'm
Yeah.
just like, are
Yeah,
you
because,
cool with
like, you
that?
just like,
Like,
"Dude, this is super creative, like, I
yeah.
feel like I'm stealing your property if you
Right.
do it." I
Exactly.
know, I
Exactly.
we very much feel like it's hard as an artist, like, because my former profession is being a graphic designer. I'm still very much a designer and like, whatever.
Sure.
That's not the point, but what I'm trying to say is, like,
Mhm.
there's this saying that, art or I can't think of the exact right now on the spot. I can't think of the exact saying, but it's just that inspiration uh, is basically copying somebody. It just sounds so
Right.
horrible, but like it's the high. Copyright is like the highest form of flattery or something like that, because like to
Oh,
feel
right.
inspired by somebody else's piece of art to go and create your own rendition of it or something like that is like something that an artist should be happy about.
Right.
But I have a hard time because I'm just like, no, I should have thought of that. Like I should be making my own original shit, not
Right.
ripping off. And I say that in quotes. I did the finger air quotes and everything, saying I shouldn't be ripping off somebody else, right? Like we share that bond, don't we? Like
Yes.
we're afraid of, even in this case, like who cares? It's his garage, it's your garage or your cave or your room.
Right.
Who the fuck's gonna really know?
Yeah. It's
But
just
give
like,
credit where credit's due.
right. Exactly. And it's just one of those things where I just feel wrong to just like not say anything, or like just bring it up
Mm-hmm.
later on. Like just be like,
Like
I,
build the son of a bitch,
yeah.
and then he comes over to your house
Yeah.
with your brother-in-law, and you're like,
Yeah. You're just like, that's a cool bar. And it'd be like, yeah, I made one just like yours. Isn't that sweet? It just feels weird. It's just like,
I agree. I
even if you're not
totally agree,
making
dude.
money,
We're
it's just like, that's so cool. Like, are you okay with me making one like yours but different? And he immediately was like, yeah. Like he's super cool, super laid
Mhm.
back. Like
Cool.
most of the people in that town that they made friends with are all super chill. So
Nice.
yeah, I like hanging out there a lot, but they're, it just doesn't feel right, if
Oh,
like you
yeah.
said,
I got you.
it feels like their property. And if I'm making
It does.
something that's exactly like what they made, it just feels not cool to do it without asking.
Yeah. No,
Even if he
I
never came
totally
over to
agree.
my house, like it would come up in conversation.
Mhm.
They just be, you know, they'd just be like,
Yep.
"Yeah, it's a sweet bar," and they'd just be like, "Tim's got one at his house. That's like
Right.
yours, but cooler because video games."
No, no, I fully agree. With so, I mean, I've had several bar ideas. I don't necessarily have one right now because I live in a townhome and I don't have that idea. But like, what you're saying is like I didn't realize that I already have the start of this studio slash man cave.
Oh yeah.
I had to literally have this conversation, like have you pointed out to me to get to know that. Which still, I have to say it out loud to check myself. That like that's how that went down. Just so you know, don't forget. But like I was saying earlier, is I have all this like 1990s Florida Marlins memorabilia. I I I hold on to it because baseball in general, like there's just something about baseball that just like I don't know, I love the memorabilia about it. I just love the atmosphere about it. It's the most fucking boring thing ever to watch on TV. Um but I keep it around because I do think in my head like I just have this yeah, I can keep that because someday it will be on a wall. Someday I'll hang it up in my own space. You know,
Right.
do you have any of that stuff sitting around right now
A bunch
in your
of
house? Like, do you have your little spot
not
that you tuck
not in
away?
my house. I still have a bunch of shit at my parents' house that I have to take.
Oh shit,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. So um I know I have a poster of like all the different um basketball teams that existed like
At
when
a
I was a
certain
kid.
time,
Yeah. Yeah,
do you
so
know
it's
when? Because I'm just super curious because I have something similar that I want. I can't. I don't know if I have it, but anyways,
well, I don't know
do you know
from
what
what
year it was like
I don't know
printed?
what from what year it is, but it has the Washington Bullets on it because the like
Washington Bullets.
they're the
What
Wizards
I
now, but they changed it because they used to be the Bullets, and there was so much gang violence in DC that they're just
in
like,
DC.
yeah, because they were just like,
They're not the
we
because
should not be the Bullets anymore.
holy shit, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Because I was thinking that they filled a small void when the Supersonics left Seattle. No, 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 no.
No, the Supersonics are on that poster as well.
Oh my god, I'm looking at the Bullets right now. I'm looking at the jerseys on
Yes,
Google
two
and I'm
hands
like, "What?
offset for the L's.
Dude, I remember that logo. I do not remember that team."
Yeah, the Washington Bullets is on there. The
Wow.
Seattle Supersonics, the Charlotte Hornets before they went away and came back.
Yeah, the original Charlotte Hornets with
Yeah.
Muggsy on there. I remember Muggsy.
Yep. Yep. And then um I think is it the Grizzlies still Memphis?
No, they
Or
were
no,
weren't they the
now
Vancouver Grizzlies at first?
yeah, maybe the Vancouver Grizzlies are on there and now they're the Memphis Grizzlies.
Yeah, I think they were
Yeah.
Vancouver
Yeah, I think they were the Vancouver Grizzlies on that poster. I'm trying to think of all the differences, but yeah.
because they were one of the expansion teams in our lifetime.
Okay, yeah. Yeah,
I'm
I got a KG pendant with him
nice.
wearing the old logo, which was like his rookie year. So I have
Oh, he was still on. He made the Wolves with their original logo still.
he was like the main reason for us to change everything. Like he was
He
like
was the
the
reason they started
yeah,
making enough money to hire
he
a
was
graphic designer.
well, he was like the new face and he was kind of like a talker and stuff. And they're like,
Sure.
we need
Yeah.
to make this stuff more aggressive, like, we're the Timberwolves. And then they
Right.
made it like the more like jagged, pointed, kind of like a angry wolf instead of just like a husky. Like the original one was just like that's just like a husky dog you want to pet. And then they're just like, no, we're mad. And then the wolf had like showing his teeth and shit. So like
Yeah.
he's completely like changed the face of everything. So I have the original, like the first year he came out. So I have a pendant of him wearing the old school jersey, which I think only happened for 1 year.
Yeah, I can see that because I didn't even know that he played on that version of the Wolves. To be honest with you, like So I didn't even know that KG made it on that original, like the original Timberwolves logo. I didn't even know KG played for them. So
Yeah.
when you the pennant, right? That's the like flag, the triangle flag thing.
Yep.
So is it like a cartoon version of him, or were they already printing the
Yes.
real?
No,
it's the cartoon.
No, I have two of them, and they're both cartoons. Yeah, one of them's a later one with the like New Jersey. But
what? Oh,
yeah, then
that's not the way I took New Jersey.
Yeah, I know.
You
When I
follow me?
said it too, yeah. Yeah, one of them's when he was playing for the Nets. New Jersey, Newark, it's all the same shit.
It's all the same.
It's all the same. I used to read Word Up magazine. It's all the dream. It just
it's all
felt
a
right.
dream.
It was all the same. All the dream. It's close enough.
Close
Salt
enough.
and pepper
So,
and heavy.
do you have any?
In the limousine.
Do you have anything else that you specifically like are holding on to? Because I honestly, it's just like for me, it's a couple baseball things, and then I'll get into more of my like nerdy shit and kind of like what's even hanging behind me.
Oh yeah,
and ambition, because you already mentioned it, but the autograph stuff, love it. But I just want to know, like, what else do you have? And is that stuff that you're talking about right now, is it hanging at your parents right now? Like, did you put it up when you were a kid and just never take it down?
Yeah, I literally never took anything out of the room that I had. Like, I still have a room there,
dude.
I've never taken it down. Like, every once in a while,
That's so
they're just like, "Hey, you should take all that stuff down." And I'm like, "Yeah, I should," and then I don't. Sorry, I don't know. I just never get around to it, I guess. I literally have it's like exactly like it was back in like high school.
Right.
I still
over
have
20
a room.
years ago.
Yeah, legit. And my sister doesn't have a room there anymore. That's, I don't know. Suck it.
I don't know.
I got
That's
a room.
A different topic.
Yeah, I got a room. You don't. What? But no, I think it's probably just because they were like, "Hey, you should probably take this stuff," and then she did.
Right.
And then for
and
me,
you
they're
just
like,
don't.
"Hey, you should probably just take this stuff." And I'm just like, "You're right."
And that's it. That's the end of the conversation.
But no, I have that. I have some stuff on. Even though I'm not a big baseball guy, I do have 2 different wooden plaques hanging on the wall. One of them's a Kirby Puckett cards.
Nice.
And I say cards plural because that's one, and then the other one is Joe Montana, because I was a fan of Joe Montana back in the day. And
Heck yeah.
so what I have on there is I bought these plaques with the garbage ass card that it comes with. It's always like the cheapest like score or whatever, but then put like legitimate, like the Kirby Puckett. I have the original one like behind it still, but the Kirby Puckett one has a Topps black gold.
Nice.
Yeah, which is a really cool looking, like it's just literally like a gold plated card. And then the Joe Namath one is some Fleer one, but it has like,
wait, Joe Namath or Joe Montana?
Joe Montana. Sorry, I do have a Joe Namath. I have an old school Joe Namath one. It's the only one I have.
I think we might have talked about that in the trading card, or in the like sports card, which we should probably cover again, because that shit is getting nuts.
Dude, it's crazy. But
yeah. Anyway,
so Joe Montana, the other card that I have is like some Fleer one, but it's like, Photoshop. So you have him, but then the background is like this glittery, like all these different colored footballs, and it just looks fucking cool. Yeah.
Huh. I've never heard of it. I don't know if I've ever seen anything like that before. You would think that they would have done it for all sports, and I was a baseball card kid, so I thought I would have seen something like that.
Well, they were called inserts. They were always the different, like if you were looking up the pricing or whatever, you'd have like the 1 through 250 or however many players there are or whatever. And then like the inserts would be like F8, F10, like that shit.
I remember that.
And there'd only be like 23 of them, because those would be like the actual good players. Because you'd have like 250, which would be like every player that plays the sport. And then they're just like, the 20 top guys get this cool ass card.
Right.
So, but I have quite a few decent cards, like game worn jerseys, and autographs.
Nice.
I had one. This is kind of off topic, but I have one that was worth a lot of money. It is a Topps Chrome autographed rookie card.
What?
And then Ray Rice had to go
Holy
beat the shit out of his girlfriend
on an elevator and fucking
yeah, and now it's not worth shit. I had a Ray Rice autographed rookie card, and I should have sold it when they
Holy
won the Super Bowl.
shit. Right.
Instead, I'm just like,
Little did you know that he was just gonna fucking knock his
Hall of Fame
girlfriend
one
out.
day. You know, like it's
Right.
worth a decent amount of money now, but if I
Right.
hold on to it,
Longer.
someday he'll beat his wife.
Maybe he won't. Yeah.
Just like, you fucked me, Ray Rice.
You fucked me, Ray Rice.
Stupid. But what was the other?
But so well, I think so. I don't know if I'm interrupting, but with the cards,
No,
how many of these, like, so the jersey worn, right? We'll just go with the jersey, the game worn jersey card.
Yeah.
Do you already have a like a plaque for that? Or if you were to build a man cave, like if you were to really get on a man cave path, would this be something you'd have to get, or you would even get like a plaque for the wall for?
No, yeah, like I would probably not like the plaques like I already have, but
okay,
I would probably see if there's some sort of a frame where I can put like multiple cards in it, or like the cabinet that you have behind you. Like when you go into a card shop, that's how they have them all displayed. So I'd get one of those like little stands. So you just have like the cool cards, like my favorite cards. I have a lot of good rookies. So like I just put those behind me, or not behind me, they're behind you. And that's what I'm thinking. I'd put those in the case and just like have them in the corner or whatever. Just because I'm pretty into some of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And just the rare looking cards, the ones that just look super cool. They're just cool
like maybe they don't even have a good player on them, but they're that like lenticular thing where you turn it and it's like a pitcher throwing the ball.
Right. Well,
but it's just like some rando ass fucking Dodger that you never heard of. And you're like,
I have a really cool, like how you were talking about that with where it looks like the ball's moving. I have a Cal Ripken Jr. like that.
Whoa,
it's like orange and the ball's kind of moving and stuff.
Really?
Yeah. I wouldn't put up any garbage ass players. But like if it's a decent player and it has no real significance to the year, or like some of those cards are like fairly common, but they still look cool. So just to have them on display, like they're not worth much money, but just to have them look cool.
But it just looks cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like if I had like a super cool holograph of like Randy Foye, I would still just be like, you're not making the case, Randy.
Sorry, Randy, but you're just not getting in there.
Randy Foye, if you guys don't know, was a point guard for the Timberwolves, and they were like, I can't remember who he was drafted before, but it was another one of the Timberwolves blunders where we took Randy Foye over, whoever was in that draft. I don't know. Steph Curry did get passed up by us. He was not the number one. He didn't want to play for us, so we took like
that's right,
somebody else.
Yeah,
but we
basically if
him.
we would have drafted him, it would have been for a trade.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Fucker. Anyways,
I know.
We can't fucking get a title up here, and you could have been. Well, whatever. Let's not get on that because. Gotta keep it. I want to keep it positive because it's seriously like we're talking about like a dream situation because we don't have that right now for us. In your current house, in your current home right now, do you have a spot that you could possibly turn into this? I've already sort of owned this little space that I'm in. I don't have any of my baseball stuff up, any of my Marlins things, any of my cards like we were just talking about. I have similar things. I don't have any of that up because it just doesn't fit this space. It's a little small to sort of get it all up. But
right.
Do you have a spot carved out possibly? Or is this like even further beyond, like if you're to move?
I do kind of, but I don't at the same time. Like I have ideas where it would work, but at the same time, it's like, I think the house needs remodeling. So there's
Mm-hmm.
spots that need to get like ripped up before I can think about like building. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So the idea can't even really flesh itself out because you're thinking about the like immediate need instead, right?
Right. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get that, man. I totally understand that. It's cool to have the stuff, but to like think about the bigger picture sometimes is difficult because you just don't have the spot. Like right now I don't have the space for mine. And like it would be cool to, hang this there and have that this and whatever, but you just can't do it. And
Right.
yeah, I mean, that's how it goes. So to kind of get to the fishing thing, because that's what we do here at Real AFTV, is like you have fishing stuff. You have fishing stuff already, right? Like we'll just say the cabin, right? The cabin has some cool fishing decor in it. You have some fishing mounts, right?
Yeah,
Is
I
that what they
have
were
just
called
one.
even? Did I just fuck that up royally?
Um no, like a mount I think is right.
Okay.
I just call them like mine's a replica, so like
Okay. Sure.
I think a mount is right. But
Okay.
I just have the one replica of the muskie. And
Oh,
sorry if
okay.
anybody is watching this. I was trying to look up the whole Randy Foy thing to be like, here's who it was, and like I was focused on this more so and scrolling through that, and I never got a proper answer. And I was like, this is fucking stupid. I need to pay attention to this because
And so now you're
nobody
you're
nobody
you're you're
cares
playing catch
anyways.
up. You
Nobody
right? Now
cares but
now
me
you're playing
anyways.
catch
I'm
up with
like,
your
I must
thoughts.
let them know who I chose over, who they picked instead of, or who we could have had instead of Randy Foy. And then instead, I'm just like looking through the shit, and then I eventually got to the point of where you just saw, where I just go, "What in the hell am I doing? God, so stupid. Who the fuck cares about Randy Foy? He's not making the case. End the story." But no, I have the one muskie, and it's
Yep.
got like a piece of timber. I think there's like a lily pad, so it's kind of cool looking. So
Mhm.
that would go in there.
And
And
it's got
then
the lure too, right? I've seen
yes,
this
it
thing
does.
before.
Yeah, it's not in there like the replica, but the actual lure that I caught it on, I did just like hang it out of its mouth.
Yeah, you put it on it. Yep. Yeah.
Yep. Sorry, I got some indigestion. Um, but yeah, I do want other replicas made, but
Yeah.
it's kind of one of those things where, you know, right
Mhm.
now, where am I going to put it? If I have a man cave, shit, probably every single time I catch a new big fish, I just go, fuck,
Every
there
time
goes
a
one of the
PB
best.
comes on board, you're like
Hey, new one.
Yeah, for real. You would put that in there?
Oh yeah, I want all
Yeah.
the different species. I'd love to have. I don't like
Mhm.
keeping the actual fish,
Yeah,
so I would
sure.
have a
Mhm.
replica made as long as
Mhm.
those turn out. I don't think my muskie looks exactly like the first one I caught, but I caught bigger
Mhm.
ones later. So I'm just like,
Okay.
whatever, looks close enough to the bigger ones I caught later. Because I think it looks
Yeah.
bigger on the wall than the one I actually caught.
Yeah.
But the later ones, I'm just like, oh yeah, I for sure caught fish bigger than my replica even. So I'm just like, yeah, fuck it, we're good now. But initially, I was just like, that looks like just one of those guys that's telling a fish story. That right
Oh
there,
god.
that's the fish. And then people look at the picture and just like, really? That's the same fish? No, it's like it was like the dimensions. They didn't completely like they went with the length, and it's
Mhm.
almost like it's just a sized down replica of like just a massive monster that was like
Mm.
55, 60 inches, you know?
Okay.
So it's
Mhm.
super thick too. And I'm like, my
Ah.
fish was not that thick.
Ah, okay.
But anyways, I do want replicas made of everything because the actual taxidermy, maybe down the road I would do something like that for like if it was a big ass sunfish or something, like where I don't really
Sure.
feel as bad
Yeah, because 'cause you've, like
about.
Yeah, we've sort of talked about that before, right? Like
The
taking the
whole
bigger fish is
conservation stuff, yeah.
yeah, exactly. Right. Yep.
So
No, that's a really good point. I never even knew that that was a thing until you caught that muskie, because I had been like, I have some people in the art, being a graphic designer, you just run into artists and stuff like that, and I have some people who do who have dabbled in taxidermy. And yeah, I mean, they'll tell me about, taking the animal, whether, whatever you would call fish an animal, whatever. But yeah, they're like taking the real thing and they're turning it into a replica. And it's kind of like,
yeah.
wow, I, and, or no, I shouldn't say, and they're mounting it, right? That's why I called it a
Mm-hmm.
mount in the first place. And so, yeah, they're mounting the actual animal. Um, minus the guts and all that stuff, so it doesn't stink,
Right.
like
Right.
whatever. We don't have to get into that weird detail, but yeah, so yours was the first time I had ever heard of that, like, sort of replica situation, that to my memory.
Yeah, the other
um
thing I really don't like about my replica, just not to get on a whole like, here's why I don't like mine. It's a muskie, and the first thing anybody does is walk over to look in the mouth. And they didn't put any teeth in it, you know?
oh,
Isn't that the
really?
word? Like every time that's what I always did as a kid. You walk over a
Sure.
toothy critter, you see a
Yeah.
big northern on the wall. First thing I'm doing is looking in the mouth.
Right.
And this
Because that's
muskie
what that
doesn't
fish
have any
is.
teeth. Yeah. And it's
Right.
the same thing where people are just like, that's a big muskie. What does the teeth look like? And people be like, oh, that's scary. You walk over to mine and it's like a grandma just like, oh, gum your whole lure. I'm gonna gum it.
Oh my god, that's great. So
Brain of a
like,
shark.
oh no, no, no,
Sorry,
none of
I won't
that.
sing the whole thing. Have you ever watched that before?
Fuck no, dude.
Dude, that's
I'm
my
trying to
favorite
get
part though.
everything.
But like you're gonna have to watch it. It'll come back around. Sorry. But
Most watched video on
like
YouTube.
I gotta tell you, the baby shark is like hands open like this, and they get to a part where they're talking about grandma and grandpa, and they curl in their hands like this because it's like the gums. I'm like,
That's
yeah,
really funny.
that's good.
That's actually really funny.
Yeah.
That's really good. So in episode 18 we talked about our like dream sort of fishing scenario, like our destination, right? And
Yep.
the reason why I'm bringing it up is because you said tarpon, right?
Yeah.
If and we also made a good deal of fun of people who will just charter something to get a big fish, like a marlin.
Mm-hmm.
They're just like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I flew down to Florida to catch a marlin.
Yep.
You don't know anything about catching marlins, you fucking liar. You
Right.
biological electric reel. That's
Yeah.
what you are. That's what you
Yep.
did. Yeah.
Yep.
So we really kind of ripped into that. But if you got a tarpon
Yes.
and you had a man cave, and we'll just say a reasonable sized room, 10 by 10, I don't know, 8 by 8, right? Would you put a tarpon mount
So
up?
small.
Because that thing's going to be fucking huge.
Sorry, that's such a small room.
Is it?
Dude, 8 by 8, your wingspan is 6 foot. Like you could almost touch the walls.
I'm also not a handyman, in case you're curious.
But
okay, let's just say a reasonable sized room, something bigger than a New York apartment.
so, well, here's the thing. It depends on how much money it would cost me. I would
Sure.
love to have a mount of a big tarpon if I did it myself. But
Yep.
a lot of those go based off of like the size of the fish to do the replica. So you
Okay.
might be talking about like thousands of dollars.
Oh
And at
shit!
that
Because
point,
if you
it's
catch a
like,
good one,
right.
yeah.
So at that point, it's like, I would love to have a replica of this, but I could just get a frame from Target for like $20.
And you're even a big frame too, like
Right.
a big fucking
Yeah.
like
I just put
a
Jesus.
poster size frame of you holding that fish.
Right.
And then you could get it printed from from fucking Shutterfly or whatever it's called. I don't even know what it's
Right.
called.
Right.
For, extra $8.
But yeah, that being said, if like money was no object, I'd love to have a room that was like what you see some of the like people that go on all the different Africa hunts
Sure.
where you walk in and it's just like it looks like you're in Africa. You have like the
Mm-hmm.
elephant and the rhino and all this shit stuffed. I'd love
Mm-hmm.
to have like a wall of just like all the different fish from
Of
all
all
over
the
the
different
world.
fish. Yeah, you said all the, and when you said all the different fish, were you talking specifically Minnesota, or were you talking more like just whatever you want to fish for in
Re
the moment, you know?
realistically, I'd like to have like the big monsters of all the Minnesota fish. But
Sure.
if
Yeah.
we're talking like money's no object, I'd love to have like all over the place. I'd take excursions to just
Sure.
be like, that was the Arctic grayling I caught fly fishing on the ocean. You know, just I don't know why I would talk like that once I had it, but I feel like if I
That's
just
your
was
adventure
rolling in the
voice.
money, that's how I'd talk.
Right. You get a little bit more fancy or whatever the hell
Yeah.
that voice was.
Be, claiming that I never changed like the rappers. I'm still the same guy that I was in high school, see? Look at all my wealth. Just I don't know.
You listen to a record, it's completely different accent. Has
Right.
no accent at all. It has a New Orleans accent.
For no reason, I come into a bunch of money and I just turn into the guy selling newspapers back in the 40s on the street corner. It's just none of it makes any sense. Go back to a high school reunion. It's like, it's your 40-year reunion. What have you been up to? Well, I've been making a lot of money and catching a lot of fish. Check the front page. read all about it.
Read all about it.
So fucking stupid.
That's so good.
Oh,
Well,
that
yeah.
might be a little
Deep,
bit
deep
of the
breath.
booze talking there.
It's funny though. Okay, so I put down some notes because I didn't want to forget like to cover some stuff, and we already covered the video game stuff pretty heavily in the sense of your arcade thing. But then like I would make it into like a game room. Like that, I think that's where I would end up just going. It'd be so weird. I think I'd have this I think juxtaposition is the kind of word that, because like the the typical sports world and the like video game world traditionally don't have fuck. I saw what you did on the video and it broke it because I know what you were doing because you muted your mic and your mic turns off. Call it shit. I'm gonna get back.
Sorry.
Okay. It was very funny. But I like I said, I think juxtaposition is the right word because there's this typical like video gamers and nerds and geeks. They don't do the sports thing at all, which I don't do that much, but I do. I have this part of me that does. And so I would have this like weird baseball side and then this like game side. But really my idea is like you walk in and it's just like arcade machine noise. Because I would love to just like you said, get those old get arcade cabinets almost like not like get the glass out of the cabinet. It's not glass, but you know what I mean, like the panel that says like
Right.
Cruising World on it, and get that and put it on the bar.
Cruising World.
You know, you remember Cruising World.
Oh, dude, I remember like the actual. I don't sound like it because I think it was a girl's voice, but that's just what it's like. Just like a
Oh
weird.
yeah.
There was like no more of a song than that. It was just one lady that was just like saying just that part. Cruising World. You're just like, sweet, yeah, it's Cruising World.
Every time you put in a quarter, it said that. You were like,
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
Pick your
like,
location.
Yes, exactly. And like that's kind of the thing that I envision, which I've sort of started right in the back, like in my shot right now. That whole cabinet is full of video game stuff, and it's all like it ranges. Like I have a PS1 in there and a PSONE,
See,
the tiny little,
yeah, with the screen.
yeah, the portable one, and it has the screen. It was like the original PSP,
Mm-hmm.
which is that thing's old. I mean, that thing's
Yeah.
just straight up old. That's all there is to it. And then above that is Sonic Mania. Like that was just made not that long ago.
Right.
But it's like the collector's edition, right? So I have this
Yeah.
giant Sonic statue. But then, you know, on the other side of the room, it's just like, hey, there's that 1995 Florida Marlins poster. Where the fuck did you get that thing?
Right.
And it's just like, it's like to go to the money situation that you were talking about, is just like if money was no object, I'd have to hire an interior designer to like
Oh,
make my
dude,
ideal situation, because I
my
wouldn't fucking know what to do with all this stuff.
my man cave would be so dope. Oh, if I had a lot of money, like I watch some of when you watch the MTV Cribs,
Yeah,
you're just like, what the fuck are you guys doing? You have so much money. Like this is it.
this is
They're
it.
just like, here's my theater. There's like 12 seats with a screen.
Right.
You're just like, that's it? That's what you did with all your money? It's just like, man, it would be so cool. I envision it being like the smoking rooms of like what man caves were in the past. But
Yeah.
like where it's just like the wood cabinets, like
Yeah.
it's just like super elaborate, like wood on everything. But
Mm-hmm.
instead of like bookshelves, it would just be a flat wall there, and I'd have all my cool shit.
Right. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and
And like
I would,
all the shit because even with money not being an object, right? If we're going down that path, you still have a bunch of shit that you would put
yeah.
in that money's no
Oh,
object
oh, for sure.
cave, right?
Yeah, it would look. Yeah, I would love it, and I'd have like a bunch of old arcade games too. Like I'd
Yeah.
have the actual arcade games, and I love old pinball machines.
Oh, they're so cool, right?
Love them. All the lights and
So sweet.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They're loud as fuck, but I love
The
them.
noise, yeah, the noise is a little annoying, but it's so cool to know that the noise is there for a reason on like an old pinball machine, right? It's all mechanical. It's like for real.
Right.
Like
Yep.
it's serving a purpose, whether it's to get your attention or whatever. It's there and it's mechanical. It's not just like a switch that's being triggered to set off a MP3.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Nope. It's
which
a
is
hundred
super cool.
percent all just like that old school feel. It's just I really like pinball machines,
Yeah,
and I could
I'm
probably
with
go
you.
on for days on if money was no object on all the shit I would fill my man cave with. Like I probably have multiple man caves, but
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And
just
I
touching
mean, of course we would, right?
right. Yeah.
I don't
I
want
was
to
gonna
go
say,
too. Okay, go ahead.
oh no,
I don't
I
want to.
just wanted to say just touching on because when are we ever gonna bring up cribs again? it you guys should all go check out Red Man's Crib because that's hands
Oh
down the
my
best
god,
one on there.
absolutely the best
It's so
cribs
good.
that's ever happened.
It's so
This
good.
fucking doorbell isn't even working. You got to touch the
Yeah,
two wires
yeah,
together.
yeah, exactly. That's how he starts it out. He's like, "Yeah, it don't have a doorbell right now, but you just touch the two wires together, it works. Come on in." And then it's just like a regular fucking house.
Okay. Anyways, one more quick thing before we wrap up the show is the autograph stuff, is because you already mentioned it and I didn't get a chance to comment on it, and then so I want to have our back and forth on that because it I do it all the time. Especially when like the NFL now has like I think is breast cancer awareness month, right? Where
Oh
like they'll
yeah.
wear the pink stuff and then they'll put it online
Hmm.
for auction. And there's like that stuff where it'll be the end of, you know, somebody, they'll have a reason to autograph something and put it on the internet, and yes, put it up for
Right.
auction, and it'll be like an
Yep.
internet silent auction. That's what they have turned into now, is internet wide silent auctions. And it's like, fuck, I work at a sports place, for, I'll just
Yeah.
keep it simple like that. I work at a sports place. We have autographed things around the office,
Hmm.
and I fucking love them. God, they're so cool. There's a Wild jersey hanging on the wall. I see who it is every day, and I just go, I still have no fucking clue who that guy is. I don't remember that person at all, but I love the display. I love the
Right.
jersey. I love that it's signed, and I'm just like, you know what, man, that's fucking cool. I would totally buy that. And again, I don't
Yeah.
want to go down to like money's no object, but like being realistic even is, because you put down fishing jerseys here on the notes, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
not to
I would love to
diminish
have the
fishing, but
fishing
like
jersey.
fishing is way bigger in the South and whatever. So, that's like, it has a different culture down there than what we're directly exposed to. And obviously not getting a Hank Cherry 2-time Bassmaster champion jersey for anything cheap, but like I follow Taco Ito pretty close, one of the Japanese guys
Yeah.
on the tour, and he's don't see him winning a ton. He does well. I think he's super cool. Every time he's on camera, he's super energetic. Like I just love his delivery. And is like he's just a super positive feeling dude. Like you watch him and you're like, fuck yeah, man, fishing.
Right.
It's like I'd pay a decent amount for a signed jersey by him.
Yeah, dude.
And it's probably, you know, a decent amount. Like I don't know, I could probably get one for like $75.
Yeah.
No offense to Taku, but
right. And that's just the whole thing with like just to get there. It's just people that you like. I would have jerseys of people that I like that aren't necessarily like the most famous people that have ever played the game. It's just like I enjoyed their style.
Yeah.
I enjoyed their like work ethic and how they played the game.
Yeah.
You know, like James Harden jersey. That's never going to be on any of my fucking walls ever, James Harden. Never. You know how to play.
Why is that? I don't know enough about sports to know that. I hate
the way he plays the game. It's like all he does is like layups or 3-pointers, and if the threes, if they give him the 3, he'll take it. If they take away the 3, he drives for a layup. If those 2 options aren't there, then he passes it to somebody else, and it's the only shit he seems to do. And he plays terrible defense. I just don't like the way he plays the game.
I gotcha.
I just, So no, James Harden, your shit's never going to be on my wall. Ever. Unless you change your shit around. Maybe try to, do something else. Hey, how about this? Try to take a 20-foot jumper once. How about that? Mid-range. Boom. Do something like that. Fade away. There's so much more to everybody else's game. Yours is one-dimensional. I don't like watching you. Basketball is not just about playing the sport. It's about entertaining the people, and you are not fun to watch. If you like watching somebody shoot threes all day, like Steph Curry shoots a lot of threes, but he also has handles. He can do different stuff. He's more entertaining to watch.
He can shake people too, though.
Yeah. He's like he can. That's what I'm saying.
Like you've looked at a couple. Yeah. If you watch Steph Curry highlights, you'd be like, "Oh, shook that motherfucker."
Yeah, and it's like James Harden. Like, because if people want to try to argue it, James Harden can shake somebody too, but he's got like the same move. It's like just between the legs, dunk, 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 and he tries to move. If it's there, he takes it. If it doesn't, he's really good at that same move over and over. That's the only shit he's got, and I hate watching it. And so anyways, I got off on a tangent there. And it's all your fault, James Harden.
You're back.
But no, just I like, and like how you're talking about with the interior decorator too. There are certain guys that I would literally probably try to seek out their college jerseys just to get the right color scheme on the walls.
Like
nice. I'm just that way. Like
for sure.
I see guys that are playing for like the Vikings, and I'm like, I don't want just all purple on my walls.
Don't want,
You know, like I'm not saying that I can't have purple. I'll have Vikings jerseys, but like I'm not that guy. I don't, or like the Timberwolves. I don't want
you like
everything. You know, like right now, I love the lime green jerseys. No way, fuck am I putting every single lime green jersey up? That's
right. Yeah, like you got to get the green one. You got to get the green one for now, but then the next jersey ain't going to be green. It's going to be like an old blue one from the early 2000s, and like going to mix it up.
Right. Yeah. Or like I just grab like their college jersey if that's completely different color, you know?
Sure. Yeah.
Like I think
that's a sick idea, dude. I never even thought of that.
Yeah, because there's some jerseys like I really like Andrew Luck as a player. He's retired now. But like,
I love him too.
Jerseys like, just kind of
he was my fantasy player almost all the time.
Yeah, and the
Colts, like I had him in his last years. He's dope.
I drafted him too, thinking just like he's like a sleeper because he got hurt and he's coming back, and I'm just like, people are undervaluing him. He's gonna come back good, and then he's just like, I'm not gonna play anymore, and you're just like, shit. You guys were right, but none of us saw this coming, so.
Right. But yeah, but
But
like you said, you like them
just the
as a
blue and
player.
white, yeah, and just I don't know what college he played for, but just the blue and white jersey is so boring. The Colts jerseys
Yeah,
are
I
just
agree.
so
The Colts
boring.
jersey is boring as
If I
shit.
could
Right.
get an Andrew Luck jersey that looked different, if they had an
Look better.
alternate or something, you know.
Right. Yep.
And that's something too. Having alternate jerseys, or you like a certain player but you don't
Oh yeah.
really care for their team for whatever, you can go and try to get like the USA team, but the USA jerseys were a little bit ugly. I
Yeah,
don't know.
depending on
Anyways,
they
you guys
but I
get
know
it.
I know
You get
exactly
it.
what you mean. Like it'd be super rad to have like a Rodman fucking USA jersey if you had a Jordan Bulls jersey.
Yep. Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you could get a bunch of different
Yeah, no,
Rodman
that's a really
shit.
cool idea, dude, man. That's not even something I thought about, but like those pop up on auction sites too. Those
Yeah.
like alternate things, they pop up a lot
Well,
because they'll
and
do
now
like the
there's
one-off game too where they're like,
yeah,
we're doing the 1920s 30 or the 1920s throwback game today
right.
and everything after this is going up on the site, you know? And they
Yeah.
do that.
But
Like
like
they'll
that's
bring back
one
the Pirates old
yeah,
1920s weird fucking hat and then
right.
every player's game goes up on the Pirates website after the game and you're like, that's
Yep.
dope, dude.
Yeah, and I
Looks
forget
old, it's brand new. I'm
right.
into it.
And I forget how it worked, but so the Lakers were from here originally.
Minneapolis, baby.
Yeah, that's
The
we're
Minneapolis
the land of
Lakers moved to
10,000
LA where
lakes.
there are
That's
no
where
lakes.
yeah, we're the Lakers cuz the lakes. But the Minneapolis Lakers were big time, and then they moved out to Los Angeles,
Mm-hmm.
and somewhere between the Lakers and the Timberwolves were the Minnesota Muskies.
Yeah.
And they had throwback jerseys for the Minnesota Muskies, like that we actually wore one game.
No. What?
I'd
The
love to
Wolves wore
have.
muskie jerseys, dude?
Mm-hmm.
Holy
Yeah,
shit,
I
that's
would love to
cool.
have those. That was like the original Ricky Rubio era.
Oh, okay.
So like
Yep.
before he
Like
left
the
and
first
came
time he
back.
came in and like lit us up
Yep.
for again.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And
Sick.
now all the different organizations have like their forget what they're
AWA
called. No,
alternatives.
no, they have like their city. Like
What?
there's I forget what the jerseys are called, but they'll have like the nickname of their city or whatever. Like
Oh,
we
like
rocked
Minneapolis is.
we rocked yeah, we were rocking some purple ones for a little while because of like Prince.
Yep.
So there
Okay.
was a couple of them that were like it was like purple and then they kind of different faded to like a lighter purple on the bottom and the numbers were a little
Really?
bit different, kind of like if the text on like Purple Rain, like the movie
Yeah.
poster,
Yeah, for
it was
sure.
like that for
That's cool.
their lettering and stuff. And
Cool.
there's Christmas jerseys. Oh man, I wanted before
What?
before there's only a select couple of teams that'll play on the Christmas um spot
Oh.
because so
Mm-hmm.
like the teams that actually play on
Just like
Christmas.
Thanksgiving
Yep.
for football.
Right. But the teams
Yeah.
that actually
Okay.
play on Christmas have a different jersey just for Christmas.
Damn.
And
That's cool.
I wanted to get the town's Christmas jersey because that one was like a cool green before we switched to the lime green jerseys. Now
Oh,
you
okay.
can get a cool green jersey, but it like had a completely different text. Like it was
Nice.
more whimsical, like Christmas looking.
Like Christmassy, whimsy.
Yeah.
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 That's
Just stuff
sick.
like that. Like if I can find like jerseys that aren't the norm, that's what I would love
Right.
to have is like a bunch
Yeah.
of different stuff that
And
anybody's
even just so like again, like let's be realistic about it and not just like money not involved. Like just to get one of those jerseys and not maybe not even game worn, but like a quick replica or something like that. Because like even if they did make them to sell, or like Towns has had 3 jerseys made for the game, right?
yeah.
To get one of the 3, not the one like the ones he didn't wear. That'd be cool.
Yep.
It doesn't
Yep.
even have to be autographed. It would just be fun to have one.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You're
Yep.
not going for like the top notch, like I gotta get that thing signed and everything. It's just like
Right.
it'd just be dope to have
Yeah.
that thing hanging.
Yeah. Just to
Right?
have it. Yeah. I don't need to set. A lot of those are worth a lot of money because if you don't buy them like when they come out, then they're rare, so people can sell them for more than they're worth.
Yeah,
but
no, I know.
Yeah, just so I knew, I looked it up real quick, and it's literally just called the city. So like instead of the Lakers, like they have Los Angeles on the front of them for them, and like
interesting.
just just.
But what about like for us? Like it's Minnesota. We're Minnesota. It doesn't.
Yeah, I think it just said MPLS for ours.
Yeah, it goes to the big city. Yeah, because it used to be Minneapolis Lakers. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to scroll because they got a bunch of them. Like the Pistons, it said Motor City on theirs.
Motor City. Yeah, and I was thinking, I was thinking about it, but Seattle doesn't have a team yet, right? They didn't get their team back. Yeah, they would be Emerald City, right? Like they would. That's what they would say.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, I'm trying to find it real quick. I'm not trying to stare at my
oh no,
phone
dude,
again,
it's fine.
but
It's fine because we are nearing we are hitting our time anyway. So it is time to wrap up because this is one of those conversations where you put down a 6-pack in front of me and Tim, and we're going to tell you need to bring more beer because we are having a man cave conversation around the fire right now.
Yep.
Since we're not doing that, and we do have a podcast that we are recording this for, it is time to wrap it up so we don't go too long. I just want to say, look us up, REELAF.TV on the internet. If you go to realaf.tv on the internet, it takes you to all of our stuff. We're on Patreon. We're on YouTube. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Google Podcasts. Like we're really all over the place there. So please tell your friends, subscribe, do all that bullshit. But seriously, engage with us. We will love to do that shit on social media. We were actually talking about that before the podcast started recording. We really do like talking to y'all. So come and give us the follow, the like, just jump in the comments. Even if you don't follow us, just jump in the comments. Let's talk. It's a good time. We, like to keep it about, man, Tim is on the video feed showing me that city jersey.
Those are all 3
I now
different years.
remember seeing those all over. Dude, I remember seeing those purple ones. They were all over and I didn't get it. I was like, what's going on? I'm in this in this hat shop. What's happening?
Yeah. So there's the purple ones that said Wolves on the front. There's a baby blue one that's like the North Carolina blue that just says MSP. And then this year's ones say Min, MINN.
Nice.
But they were like black with like a green outline, and it looks like they must have like the North Star right on
they
the
have
chest.
The North Star right in the middle of the chest. Yeah, I've seen that one. That one's
so
sick.
like every year they come out with new city jerseys and they don't wear them constantly, but just they're really making collector, like they understand the whole idea behind collector's items, so they're really playing into that to just be like, here's a jersey that's only going to exist for this year.
For sure. Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's sick, dude. That's really cool. That is really cool. All right. That's it, Tim. We're done. What do you want to say to the people? Because if we would keep going, and I would start looking up alternative hockey jerseys and all that stuff, and row the boat.
I just
row us right out of here.
I was like looking at myself. It just feels, hey. Yeah, I don't know. I really got nothing.
That's all right, because I already covered all this fucking social media and shit, and I just wanted to give you the floor for a second in case I.
There you go. There's a sign off. I got indigestion. I've been trying to keep it quiet the whole time, but there's one of them. That's